Good afternoon everyone, welcome to another shed session. Today we're in the shed with Speedway great and legend of the motorsport, Jeremy Smith. We're going to sit back and have a few questions with Jeremy and have a bit of a look at the car while we're here today. So Jeremy, welcome to the show.
Thanks mate, thanks for having me.
Where did we grow up, mate?
I grew up in Devonport.
Devonport?
Yeah, we went to Devonport High and Nixon Street before, I think I was about 17 before we moved out to here, before the parents built the house here, and then we've been here ever since.
Ever since? Love it out here?
Yeah, I love this quiet town. Obviously the Speedway just up the road.
Oh, yeah, you throw a rock to the Speedway.
Yeah, so we've really enjoyed it here, and I've even built a house in Latrobe now, so with my partner. And
still waiting on the shed though?
I'm still waiting on the shed, that will come, so we'll eventually have my own shed.
Yeah, excellent. Then you'll be right then.
Yeah, Bruni's been really good to help me out, to let me have your stuff here, but it's just not your own. I've just got to make sure your tools are packed away, or his tools are packed away.
Yeah, he's a bit anal, is he?
He is. Even if you look at the shed, like there's nothing. Everything's,
she's pretty spotless in here, isn't it? Yeah.
And everything's, he likes his tools put away.
Well done, Bruni, you're a bloody champion. When did you first become interested in motorsport, Jeremy?
Mum took me to a birthday, about '98 season. That she took me to Speedway, and I really liked it. One of our friends, Des Gallagher and Donna Gallagher, we grew up with. Yep. And we used to go and watch Des and all that race. So I grew up sort of with Chris Gallagher and all that. And then so that sort of started the interest. And then obviously, when Mum met Bruni and all that along the way, he started racing cars, and that was it. I was big kids. That's when I was sort of hooked.
Young fellas running in and out, but we'll keep going. That's just raw and uncut today.
So that's when I sort of started to take more notice of it, and a lot of kids when they were 10 and 12, they're going up to kids' houses where I was desperate to get in the shed, and even grade 8 and grade 9, I remember when Bruni built his first AM car from scratch, started from RHS on the floor. I couldn't wait to get around there, and Saturdays and Sundays after school footy was shed days. And that's how I've always been. And
righto. So cool. What division did you first start in?
Started in AMCAs. Obviously Bruni started the division, and sort of was brainwashed to racing them, but I really enjoyed racing AM cars at the time. But that's where we started. We built our first one in the shed here. And raced that one, and then eventually
done quite well in it too.
Yeah, we went all right for it. We probably underdeveloped the car. We probably needed a little bit more help to get it going for some smarter people. But when me and Bruni just sort of bounced off ideas off each other, and we just made it work, then it didn't go too bad. Something same built.
And what division do we race at the moment?
I race a wingless sprint. Really love the wingless and what they do. For a budget class and everything, all the parts were available. To anyone. And with the engine side just being so controlled, you're not racing someone's wallet. And like I know other divisions, they have a lot of money spent on engines and stuff, and probably pushes out the little guy. Where wingless are a division where that's a wrecker engine, or just a little bit better than a wrecker engine.
Yep.
But yeah,
awesome. For all those people out there, so what is a wingless sprint, mate?
Well, wingless is a sprint car with no wings pretty much. They run all the same bolt-ons as you can see there. Everything that you see comes off a sprint car or buy an available sprint car. We just run the 3.8 Holden Series 2 engine.
The Buick motor.
So everyone can get one of those, and they have a conversion kit that you can buy, and you put them on and away you go racing.
So can you do much work to these, or are they pretty much stock standard?
Cam, standard timing. They're rev limited to 6,000.
Yep.
Everything's got to be pretty much standard. They allow you little tolerances just to make sure a bit of engine reconditioning.
Yep.
9.5 compression, standard fuel pressure. So the rules are very for that reason.
Yeah, very select rules, aren't they? Why wingless sprints, mate?
It just makes it easier. Like when we was racing AM cars and they had the old Holden HQ clip in them, you always had to make sure you had to find suspension, you had to find diffs. And during the winter periods when me and my good mate Damo would have to go around looking at people's paddocks and try and find when you're paying this and you're paying that. And you really didn't know what you got. You get a HQ, you rip the steering out of it, but you don't know
whether it's bent or
you're just putting in there, and then obviously Bruni went to wingless, and we just looked at what he was doing. You could spend an hour at work and pay for the parts, and they'll be here the next day. And you're like, well, I don't have to do that. So and then just other things that I didn't agree with AM cars, and just sort of moved on from there.
What's the harder of the two divisions to drive, mate? Because you're pretty good in AMCA, and you've won a few races in this now.
It's very hard because they're both so demanding. I actually adapted pretty well from the wingless, from AMCA to wingless. Just for they're just so hard to drive because AM cars have got hard tyres, so you don't have grip. These have got soft tyres, so they've got grip. They just don't have the downforce, and so you've both got to wheel them. That's the key with the two divisions. You just got to get up on the wheel and go for it. I couldn't say. I'd probably say wingless is probably a little bit harder to drive because if you miss the setup, they can be a bucket.
So they're the same as a sprint car that way. Then, if you miss the setup, you're completely totally out, even though they don't run wings on top.
Yeah, if you're too loose, you know when you're too loose, and then when you're too tight, you know you're tight as well. That's the one thing that we noticed moving to this. When you do an adjustment, you can feel the adjustment. And then when we did it on the AM car, as I said earlier, we don't know if we've developed that car enough. When we did an adjustment, we're like, did that work or didn't it work? With these, you move them an inch, you know where they sat.
Excellent. What division would you like to race if not wingless and ANCA?
What division? I would race anything. As long as it's got numbers. Or looking at developing into numbers, I would race. We raced AM cars and that had 20, and then when I started racing wingless, we had 15 or 16. And it's only been these last years they've sort of died off, but we're on our way back up. We'll have hopefully 12 in Hobart, and then by the end of the year we'll hopefully have 15 cars back out on the track.
That's great.
But we all know that every division goes through a hard time. As long as we get through that hard time.
You ain't got to look at Tassie Sixers 3 or 4 years ago. They were struggling for numbers, and now they're one of the biggest divisions in Tasmania.
And other divisions do that. And, you never want to see a division die off because a lot of people want to, they have their passions for divisions, but obviously. If it was another division, it'd have to be sprint car or something like that. But I know my budget doesn't allow me to do that. But I'd like to have a go in a street stock. I think that'd be pretty cool, or even be a passenger in one.
I've been a passenger in Dale Riley Junior's street stock, and my word, it opened my eyes when I was in there. You don't really realise how hard they send them cars in the corners and things like that. It's amazed me how they don't roll every time they go around the corner. But, favourite event?
It's probably just down here in Tassie. It's the Tassie title. We don't have any big races for wingless, but I do do enjoy our charity race that we've started up in Wingless, just being able to do something for someone, I suppose.
And what's the charity race for, Jeremy?
Every year we choose a charity just to raise money for. We all the drivers give up their prize money, and then our club donates $500, I think the track puts in, and then whatever other donations we get. So, you know, I know, you know, people say Speedway you don't make money out of, but you know, if we can help someone along the way,
that's great,
and achieve something, well, you know, it's a good thing. So, you know, if anyone's watching has got a charity this year, we've got another charity race coming up. Doesn't matter, he'll just send it into Wingless Sprints or send it into me, and hopefully we can help you out. Yeah,
excellent. Anyone that can't find Jeremy, look him up on Facebook. He's everywhere on Facebook. Yeah. So, state titles. We've won one now in the Wingless.
Yeah.
That must have been a pretty spectacular night after winning that.
Oh, I reckon it was the best. Yeah, it was the best night really, because we went down expecting not to win.
Yep.
Because when you had Luke and Brad, you know, winning most of the races through the year, and you know, they're pretty fast drivers. Like I was sort of, as we going down in the car, I'm like, oh, I reckon if I get third, I'd be probably wrapped, you know. And as the night went on and results were coming our way and going and wasn't working on the way of others, we're like, and well, as soon as we put it on pole, and we only had 20 laps, and we thought, right, this is going to be the fastest 20 laps we're going to do.
Let's start to finish, didn't we?
Let's start to finish. I think me and Winchurch, we had one little bit of a battle there, but I managed to get back underneath him and then just pulled away.
And he's not an easy driver to beat, Brad.
No.
He's quite a good driver.
No, well, between them and Luke, they keep you honest, and that's probably what's pushed me to try and get faster, trying to get up to them.
Yeah. Who do you reckon the one to beat this season's going to be out there?
Oh, definitely Brad.
Brad again?
Yeah. We've got 4 or 5 new rookies this year.
Yeah, right, eh?
So these guys have either been pit crews or stepped up from other divisions.
Yep.
So I hope we get 10 guys that you can beat.
Oh, it'd be great. That's what close racing is. Whatever.
The last thing you do want, you don't want, is just to be 2 cars racing up the front. You know, we want 5 or 6 to be up the front and going. You know, this bloke's here, that bloke's there. Well, geez, he's there as well. Just so that it just makes that a little bit more similar to the street stocks, where you rock up and there could be 15 of the guys that could win.
Yep. Who was your biggest hero growing up, mate?
Oh, in Speedway?
It can be anything.
Well, probably before, in football wise, it was definitely Jason Dunstall.
We won't hold that against you.
Obviously, I'm a Hawthorn supporter, so Jason Dunstall was probably growing up, but then when it got to when I first started racing, you know, it was probably more like your Darren Canes and your Des Gallagher's and stuff like that. When I you know.
Yeah, well, they were around when we were kids, weren't
they?
Yeah. He's just retired too, Darren Ash.
Yep. I even brought one of his shirts.
Oh, I've got a jumper, a shirt, and probably a hat, I think, somewhere. But what's the one event you really want to win? You won the state title, so
there's not, as I said, there's not many races in Tassie for a wingless driver to win.
It can be Australia-wide though.
I'd like, obviously, Australian title. Yeah. Definitely Australian. I think that's everyone's sort of goal, to be an Australian title or champion of something. We must be near due for a wingless state. 3 years away.
3 years away.
So we put the proposal in and hopefully get it. And
so you're hanging on for another 3 years then?
There'd have to be at least another 3, and then I guess we'll reassess from there and see how we go.
Yep. So this car's not yours at the moment. Yours is a bit on the bent side.
Yeah, mine's on the bent side.
Are we going to see the other one back this year, or are you just going to race this one?
My car's retired until further notice. Just until funds and stuff like that pick up. But I was never going to race this year, and Doug Chintock and Jody Boxall, who own DDM Civil, and Taztec, who sponsored me in the last car, they came to me and said, hey, we want you to drive our car for the year, we want you back out there. And you know, I can't thank them enough for giving me a car to go and race. I owe them everything.
Favourite track you've raced on?
Favourite track?
And why?
I haven't raced on many know, it'd have to be probably Carrick or Trade. You know,
Why is Carrick?
it's just like a little bull ring.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like the closeness, and you know, you can get on Latrobe and just be wide open. And as funny as people say this, Latrobe can be boring on nights.
Yep. Yep.
Because if the track's so fast and hooky, no one can pass.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not fun. Like, even though you're doing high speeds and
still gets a bit boring.
Yeah, like you're just sitting there, just steering at corner, you're not seeing everyone, you're not catching anyone because of how close the division is.
Yep.
Like, Carrick's always probably a track where you can always be racy even if you're in mid-pack.
You're not the only one in that area. Most drivers I talk to in Speedway, and you ask them it's always Carrick.
Yeah,
so you're not the only one.
I do really like, this sounds a bit weird, I really do like Hobart as well, only because we've probably had a little bit of success down there with the title and a few others down there, but a lot of people hate Hobart. But I just think that, as we spoke about earlier, you've got to set your car up for Hobart. You've got to really be thinking about it, whether you're hooky or you're slick or...
I actually reckon Hobart's one of the nicest tracks in Australia. Myself, track service-wise, probably not 100% to what it was years ago, but the picturesque view around it, it's the only track in Australia that I know of that you can sit on the hill in your car and watch the race. And
it's a really good viewing track. I think Hobart's a really good viewing track. If we can just get a good service down there and just nail it every night, it wouldn't be. It'd be a great track. Like I said, I love going to Hobart.
Favourite track you haven't raced on yet but would like to?
Well, there's probably two. I'd like to do Kwinana.
Where's Kwinana?
In WA.
All right,
the Motorplex.
Oh, yeah, Motorplex. Yeah, I know that.
And obviously Warrnambool.
Yeah, everyone says Warrnambool.
Yeah, they'd probably be the two. Yeah, they're probably the two that's on the bucket list. Whether I get to them or not will be a different story.
Talk to the sponsors a bit more and keep going this season. What hobbies do you have?
Nothing. Well, other than football and speedway, that's me.
Yeah, right. And what football team do you play for?
I played for Latrobe Demons up here, just a local team. Played there 12 years.
Seniors?
I had played seniors, and then sort of got pushed to the side. So
getting old, mate.
Getting old, and there's a lot of young fellas down there.
Yeah,
and,
I was the same when I played football. Once I got a bit old, that was it. Back to reserves.
Back to
yeah. Still playing footy?
Played this year.
Yep.
After the crash at the state title, I broke my tailbone.
Yep.
And probably put a hold on for a bit, and so I played the last 6 games very well underdone.
Yep.
And so I think this year was my final year.
Yeah, right. We all say that, and then go and watch a game of footy again, and then we're back out on the football ground.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, you're sort of getting older, and these kids are getting faster, and
Football or speedway?
Well, I really... Football probably earlier, but now Speedway's probably taken over and taken priority, I reckon. Probably Speedway now.
Yep. Cars you've had that you wish you'd never got rid of?
I still do miss the AMCA that me and Breeny built.
Yep.
As I said, we probably could have developed that car even better. But the three wingless chassis I've had, I've wrecked them all. So I haven't really got rid of them. I've just wrecked them. But it'd probably be the ANCAR.
Yeah, right. And is that car still in Tassie, or did it?
I think so. Yeah, one of my mates brought it, and he took it to Queensland and hasn't raced it since. So it may make an appearance back here in Tassie this year because he's moved back.
Yeah, right.
Depending on work and all that sort of stuff.
Yep. Are the kids keen to follow in your footsteps?
Yeah, Max, the oldest boy, he's been on to me about buying a go-kart.
Yeah, right.
And I just said to him, once the shed's up, because I can't keep borrowing people's sheds and having. So I said, once we're in our own shed, we'll probably more look like getting him a go-kart or something. I'll give him a go in a go-kart.
Yeah. And where does he want to end up?
I don't know, because one minute he wants to play basketball, next minute he wants to play football.
Yeah, right.
Next minute he wants to race speedway, and then next week he's doing something else. So
yeah, right.
we'll keep his options open.
It still hasn't. What do the kids think of it though? Are they?
Max has been there. Since, you know, he comes most meetings with me now, and
He's got 2 kids.
I've got 2 kids. Got Max and Ollie, and Max loves it. You know, he comes most meetings with me, and if we don't race, we both go anyway. Ollie. Oh well, as you've seen earlier, he's just a bit of a handful. So we haven't taken him. We haven't taken him too much, just because we know he wants to be running around and stuff like that. And,
energetic.
Oh yeah, heaps. But you know, he likes to help Dad on the car, and you know, I've got to check all the holes in the axle holes because he slides stuff up in them. And so I only found stuff in the kingpin at practice day where he put bolts and stuff down them. So I've got to keep on to that.
Yeah, right.
He hangs out here in the shed with me, and I think he likes it.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. So what do you do for a job, Jeremy?
Me, I'm a diesel mechanic.
Yeah, right. Whereabouts?
At Sea Road.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I've done my apprenticeship at Cummins, and then jumped over to Sea Road about 9 years ago now. So
I love doing it.
Has its days.
Has its
Life
days.
jobs has its days. You always
Most
get jobs that are easy, and then you get jobs that are just like, why would they go
Yeah. It's a dirty job too. I've done it for a few years myself.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years' time, mate?
Well, hopefully alive.
Yeah.
But other than that, hopefully I'll just still float around the speedway scene, whether if I'm racing or if Max is taking the racing on, or if none of us are racing, probably just helping someone out.
It's a pretty big family down here in Tassie.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's very hard to walk away once you know a lot of people, and I've been in it since I was a kid, so I know a lot of older guys. Because I used to get, Bruni used to drag me everywhere, and then now I'm sort of doing that with Max. You go to someone's house and they, g'day Maxie. So he's probably going to be that next generation coming through.
Cool, excellent. Favourite colour and why?
Favourite colour? Well, it used to be orange. All my hand cars were orange and stuff like that. And then as you get sponsors and you change colours and all that, and we've sort of lost the orange for a lot of years. But
white was the wingless, wasn't it? White with a
white and orange.
Colour,
White and orange. Sorry, the wingless was orange with a bit of white.
Yeah, that's right.
And then we picked up Harding's HVAC.
Yep.
And then that went silver, red, and black because that was their colours.
Right.
And then we spent a lot of years in that colour, and then we just had plain white, but it had a little bit orange on it with the Taztec car, and then now we've got the DDM civil car.
Looks good too. Looks really good. People, sponsors you'd like to thank?
Especially Doug and Jody from DDM Civil. Not only do they own that, they own Taztec that throw in as well, and then they own Skin and Tonic. So they're real big supporters at the moment. Denport Garage Doors, which is Breeny.
Yep.
Then we've got Tyre Bills Race Parts in South Australia. We also have Atlantic Oils. Direct Access, Wendy and Phil, they've been pretty big.
Wendy and Phil have been big in Tassie Speedway
Yeah, they've been
now.
really big supporters.
They do a good job.
Yeah, they do, mate. Ludi came to crew for us a few years ago, and he started off as a little kid, very shy, and now hasn't he?
Oh, he's definitely progressed. That's for sure. He's definitely
progressed, which is good.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah.
And and I just also like to thank Paul Geary from Shock Therapy for building all the shocks. He does an amazing job every year.
Excellent. So what's the plans for this season? We're off to, where's our first meeting?
Well, it was supposed to be Carrick last weekend, but we're definitely Hobart in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, right.
We plan to do all I think we have 15 nights, 14 nights now, so we're planning to do all 14 nights, and then there is a whisper just amongst our camp that we may be going to the Australian title.
Oh yeah.
So
where's that at?
Murray Bridge.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it got cancelled there last year from COVID.
Yep.
And we're just sort of
hopefully the COVID stays
away, and just seeing what the budget's like, and make sure I can wreck the car and I haven't taught too much stuff hard. That's going to be the big thing.
That's going to be the big question.
And just see what I suppose it ends up after that.
Do we have a series this year for?
So we managed to secure Webster Trucks again for around 14 rounds of the series. Yep. So they've been great to come back on board, and they're also going to sponsor the state title.
Yep.
So it's pretty good to have Webster Trucks back on board.
That's great. Thank you, Webster Trucks.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, my word. Well, thanks, Jeremy,
Thanks,
for coming
mate.
along today.
Thanks for having me.
And we wish you all the best for the coming season.
Thank you.
And we'll catch up during the year and have another yak, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, and hopefully it's still the same car and we haven't
That's it,
haven't bent it or anything like
That's
that.
it.
But no, thank you.
Thanks very much, everyone, and we'll see you next time on the Shed Session. Thanks a lot. Bye.